Level 1, the production assistant. You wake up at 5 in the morning, not because call time is 6, because someone above you needs coffee before call time, and the good place is 20 minutes away. You are a PA. You fetch, you carry, you stand in the rain holding an umbrella over a producer who does not say thank you. You run cables, you fill out paperwork nobody else wants to touch. You make copies of documents you are not allowed to read. You are not making television yet. You are making it possible for other people to make television. There is a difference. You will understand that difference for the next 2 years. You make almost nothing. You work almost always. If something goes wrong on set and it isn't clearly someone else's fault, it is your fault. That is the rule. Nobody says it out loud. It doesn't need to be said out loud. How do you move up? You become indispensable to one person above you. Not to everyone, to one person. You learn what they need before they ask for it. You solve their problems before they become problems. You make them look good in rooms you are not allowed to enter. Do that for long enough, and they bring you with them. Level 2, the segment producer. You own a story now. Not the whole show, a thread, a cast member, a conflict, a relationship that runs through several episodes. Your job is to make that thread as compelling as possible. This sounds creative. It is also something else. You spend hours talking to your cast member off camera. Pre-interviews, check-ins, casual conversations that are never as casual as they seem. You are learning everything about them, what they want, what they fear, what they would never say on camera. You file all of it away. Then you figure out how to make the camera capture what you already know is there. And if it isn't there, you figure out how to create the conditions for it to appear. Here is the catch. You genuinely like most of the people you work with. They trust you. They tell you real things. And you sit across from them and you nod and you say the right things. And in the back of your mind, you are thinking, that is the clip. That goes in the promo. That is what makes the audience come back next week. You are not a bad person. You are learning to hold two versions of everyone at once. The human being sitting in front of you and the character they are becoming on screen. Over time, the distance between those two things stops feeling like anything at all. That is when you know you are getting good at this. Level 3, the supervising producer. You are in the story room now. There is a wall of index cards. There is a whiteboard covered in arrows. Your job is to take 500 hours of unscripted footage and turn it into a season with a shape, a beginning, a build, a villain, a hero, a moment in episode 7 that makes people text their friends and say you have to watch this right now. The footage doesn't do this on its own. You do this. You are an architect working with material that was never designed to be architecture. You make the hard calls. A cast member had a genuine breakdown off camera. Do you use the aftermath? A relationship that was supposed to anchor the season turns out to be completely boring on screen. How do you manufacture friction between two people who actually like each other? The answer, you learn, is information delivered slightly out of context. You make sure one person hears something the other said. Not the whole thing, just enough. You watch what happens next. You film it. You put it in episode 4. You don't think of this as manipulation. You think of it as producing. The language you use matters more than you realize. You will not realize it for several more years. Level 4, the co-executive producer. You are in the room with the network now. You sit across a conference table from people who have strong opinions about your show and have never spent a single day on set. You listen to those opinions. You incorporate them. You smile. The network tells you the villain isn't villainous enough. The love story isn't moving fast enough. Audiences are losing interest in episode 4 and something needs to happen. You go back to the edit bay. You call a cast member in for additional confessionals. You give them just enough information about how they are being perceived to make them react. You film the reaction. You insert it into episode 4. It looks like it happened organically in the moment. It did not happen organically in the moment. Here is what you tell yourself now. Everyone signed a release. Everyone knew what kind of show this was. Everyone is getting paid and getting famous and getting opportunities they never would have had otherwise. You repeat this often. You repeat it especially on the nights when a cast member calls you crying because the edit made them look like a person they don't recognize. You talk them down. You remind them of the release. You do not tell them there were 40 ways to cut that scene and you chose the one that tested highest with the focus group. You are not cruel. You are in the business of television. Level 5, the executive producer. Your name is on the screen at the end. You have final cut. You have final say. You have a development deal and a first look agreement and a reputation that means your calls get returned and your pitches get heard. You also have 17 cast members' numbers saved in your phone. At least 6 of them have called you in the last year in some form of distress that traces back to something your show did to them. You have a publicist for the ones that go public. The ones that don't go public, you handle yourself. Warm conversations, careful words. The cast member feels heard. Nothing changes. You have been doing this long enough to know the truth that nobody in this industry says out loud at a panel or in an interview. The most compelling television is made from real people in real pain. You have built a career on finding people who have just enough self-awareness to be interesting on screen and not quite enough to protect themselves from what you are about to do with their story. You do not think about this often. When you start to, you think about the ratings, the renewals, the 20 people on your staff whose jobs depend on those renewals. The thinking stops there. The new season starts shooting in 3 weeks. There is a woman in the cast who lost her mother 6 months ago. She is clearly not okay. Her grief is going to make extraordinary television. You have already planned the episode around it. You have already decided how to draw it out of her on camera. You have already picked the music for the edit. You have not thought about what happens to her after the episode airs. That is not your department. Your department is what happens before. You open your laptop. You pull up the season outline. The show must go on. It always goes on. Level 6, the showrunner. You built something. A format, a universe, a machine that runs on human emotion and spits out content that 200 million people watch every year across 40 countries. Your show has been on the air for 11 seasons. It has launched careers, destroyed reputations, and generated more cultural conversation than anything else on television this decade. You are not on set anymore. You are on calls. Network calls, studio calls, international distribution calls, calls with the streaming platform that wants to buy the back catalog, calls with the lawyers for the cast members who are suing. You have 3 assistants and a chief of staff and a development team pitching your next 6 projects while you are still finishing this one. You are a brand now. Your name above the title is worth something. Networks greenlight shows because you are attached to them. That is real power. You did not have it at 5 in the morning holding coffee in the rain, and you do not forget where you came from. But here's the thing nobody tells you about the top. You are further from the show than you have ever been. The decisions that made this machine great, the ones you made in the story room and the edit bay and the field, those decisions are being made now by people at level 2 and level 3. You trust them. You trained some of them yourself. But you are reading reports about what is happening instead of being in the room where it happens. And the machine keeps running. It runs on its own now. A PA brings you coffee without being asked. You do not say thank you. You are on a call. You are always on a call. Somewhere on a set you will never visit, a cast member is telling a producer something real and private, and the producer is nodding and filing it away. Somewhere in an edit bay, someone is choosing between 40 cuts of a scene and picking the one that tests highest. The machine runs. You built it. You are not sure anymore if that makes you proud or if it makes you something else. You do not have time to figure out which one. The next call starts in 4 minutes. Somewhere right now, a cast member is watching their episode air for the first time. They are watching themselves become a character for an audience of millions. They are trying to remember if that's really what happened. It is and it isn't. That's the whole trick. That has always been the whole trick.